Hi Tubers, hi, I'm back with 41 Years of Mills and Bone, and it's the last part of the Happen One Christmas Anthology. Obviously, recording this in June, it'll be uploaded in December. Okay, so it's called A Philadelphia Affair. That's quite interesting because every single story in this anthology has a word affair. A St. James Affair, a catered affair, the Philadelphia Affair. And it's by Jule McBride. Okay, let me read the blurb. Successful marketing executive Kim Winkler. Kim's shopping spree for the season's must-have toy brings her up close and personal with the toy's brilliant creator. Kim's bag does the best Christmas present of all, a sexy bachelor. Okay, so one thing I liked about this book is normally with a Mills and Boon novel, it starts off with they meet cute, that kind of thing. This starts off with the fact that these two characters, okay, Kim and Timothy, they've met before. They actually had a fling, a hookup. Okay, Kim's a widower, but I thought they kept about each other. And basically, Tim is a comic book creator, inventor, and he designed this like range of toys. Remember a few years ago, well, many years ago, the Buzz Lightyear craze. Remember that? This is like the character he's created, Doctor Ooze, is it's this season's equivalent of Buzz Lightyear. People go nuts for the toys. They run out in shops, and Kim's actually trying to bag herself one. And you think just ask the creator, but at the time, okay, actually start the book. Okay, right, here we go. Timothy Toy whispered under his breath as he followed Kim Winkler down the long, carpeted hallway. She's avoided me again. Not that it surprised him. He'd already seen a smart market CEO since they quit sleeping together. And now, just now, she fled after their meeting. He wasn't going to let her get away though. After the hot 3 months they shared in the sack, he deserved some answers. Essentially, they hooked up for a couple of months after her husband died. Well after her husband died. And then it started to get a bit too close to personal, and so they can't. She basically ghosted him. She ghosted him. Okay, right. Let's be here. And quite interesting with Timmy's point of view, okay, because even though he creates toys and essentially a comic book and like these characters, he's living a bachelor lifestyle. I actually thought it was quite interesting, okay. He creates like this character, Dr. Ooze. They're very much like him because Timothy grew up in foster care. And it's quite funny, okay, because to him, he creates these like characters that are more like him in a way. But essentially, he's living the life of Bruce Wayne, if you will. An aloof, rich bachelor, living all alone. But all he really needs, okay, is actually what he's been searching for, which is clearly Kim. But I thought it was quite a nice touch, you know? Like, the guy who creates this kind of like family-friendly character that everyone loves is so kind of reserved with his own heart. It's a bit here, okay? Right, because as it was a fling, it was pure sex, but this is now the relationship part. Right. I know that when we met, I told her what I wanted. Tim chuckled, his body warming, heat sliding through his veins, hot sex, no strings attached. And we had that for a while. Enough that she left him craving her. The first time they made love, they barely made it inside his pre-war townhouse on Society Hill before their clothes hit the floor. Yeah, exactly. And I had this for 3 months. It was just lust. It was a no strings hookup. Okay? And then, okay, you find out more about Dr. Ooze. Okay? Here's what here. Timothy took in the pictures of Dr. Ooze doll strewn across her desk. The cartoon action adventure hero Timothy had created was tall with rock-hard pectorals and a V-shaped torso. The perfect replica of what Timothy had conjured with his knighthood imagination, drawing non-nuts where Elaine awake, spinning tales about the ultimate escape artist. Strange how he thought that a lonely little boy's alter ego could turn into a multi-million-dollar business almost overnight. That his other creation, say cartoon creators, hadn't done well. Well, Dr. Ooze was his crown achievement. The comic book he had begun selling in college had caught the attention of smart markets, and in the past year Kim had not only turned the comic strip into a prime-time Saturday morning cartoon series, but she made Dr. Ooze the year's most sought-after toy. That actually reminded me of something. Legend Eastman, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well. That started off as an underground comic, okay, and then it got, which was also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, essentially was a kind of like parody of Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil, the toxic waste that turned Matt Murdock blind, okay, and gave him superpowers, fell down into the sewers and created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right. And yeah, so that's kind of also reminded me of as well. I feel like the author really kind of done her research on this as well, kind of like how something so small could turn into such a massive success. Because if you compare the original Turtles comics to the cartoon, okay, which are called a hero in my country because you can't use ninja in a title, it is actually a marked difference. One is very, very dark, and one, you know, my kind knows a party do. Right. And Raphael's always been my favourite if anyone actually cares. So, yeah, so I feel like she actually did a research on this, how comic creations kind of start off something small and kind of build as well. Fact is that he did this at high school as well too. Okay, so it's when you find out, okay, why Kim broke off their fling. She's a mother. She's a widow and she has a daughter. Okay, right. And Kelsey is going through a really, really kind of rough stage in her life. She's still kind of getting over her father. She's turned into a bully, a bit of a thug. She's been absolutely nasty to people. And it's not good in a way, okay, but I actually kind of like the fact, okay, that her grief is actually quite adamant as well. It's quite open. Normally in a lot of these kind of books, okay, someone is orphaned or widowed, and they seem to kind of get on with it quite easily. But she's actually going through the emotions of grief. It was quite hard to read really because no one wants to read a book about a bully, but at the same time it felt kind of real. This bit here, okay, this is from Kim's point of view. There's one thing that she'd never invited him over, another thing that she never mentioned Kelsey. Her mum was still reeling. In the few months he slept with Kim, shouldn't he have guessed? Shouldn't he have noticed some sign that she was a mother? He tried to track down the fears, but his worst fear seemed to realise, since he hadn't grown up with his parents, maybe with his sense he wouldn't make a good parent himself. Distractedly, he chewed at the side of his cheek, hardly wanting to think about never having a family of his own. I'd never come close to getting married, of course. Right. So, yeah. But the thing is that obviously Timothy meets Kelsey. His name's Timothy Toy, and as actually mentioned, your name is Timothy Toy and you make toys. Someone had to say it, okay? Alright. And they kind of get the idea of giving, to basically make amends for Kelsey being horrible, tracking down Dr. Oo's toys and giving them to essentially all the people that Kelsey's been bullying. It's kind of like a way to make amends. Okay, some take them and some don't. I actually like that too. This bit here, right? And this is when Timothy's kind of going over the emotions of their 3-month fling. This bit here. Given her circumstances, he wondered what their affair had meant to her. Imagine it had been a strong release. It should have been for him. Previously, he imagined her going home to an empty apartment, maybe watching videos, talking with girlfriends on the phone. Separately, she'd been cooking dinners, laying out school clothes and helping her daughter with homework. It put a whole new spin on the urgency of their lovemaking. Why don't you tell me about her? He suddenly asked. I don't know. I wanted you, Timothy. The mission should have felt good, but it warmed his body, but not his soul. But he never brought me home. I couldn't. Not now. Not when I'm so worried about Kelsey. She blames me for her father's death. Right. Though he actually died of pancreatic cancer, but actually rang a bell for me because I'm actually far passed away from that too. Okay. And but Kelsey's out as actor now. Essentially, she's blaming the parent is still there because she knows no matter what she throws at her mum's always going to love her. And once again, going for the motions. Absolutely going for the motions. But they spend some more time together, and Kelsey, and I can't the fact again, she kind of was not the obstacle, but the kind of realistic touch in this relationship. As Timothy and Tim and Kim, okay, are spending more time together. It's obviously having an impact on Kelsey, who, it's Christmas coming up. She's going to have these people kind of like, this man invading her Christmas. And this bit here, okay, is when Timothy is just kind of like, not kind of projecting, because he realises, okay, his bachelor Bruce Wayne kind of lifestyle isn't actually working for him. Now he actually sees what a family can be, and it starts to kind of like for him a lot too. He starts to realise what he really wants. And this bit here, right. Carrie and Zach, his foster brothers, would have been stunned if they'd seen him just now playing Dr. Ooze and tucking an excited 6-year-old. For a few precious moments, Timothy had just felt like his buddies like a proud papa. He wondered vaguely if he'd ever be ready to take on such a role. Sobering, he stared into a crackling fire he'd helped Kim build in the heath. At the sound of tiny tongues of flames and the sound of snapping kindling mesmerising him, the thought of how mesmerised he was by Kim. All during dinner, his eyes had been riveted on her. He couldn't tear them away. What the hell did he want? None of the many women he dated had kids. Not that Kim was asking to rekindle their affair. You see? He's realising he's watched his family get together. He's been making paper chains. He's been having a family dinner. He's kind of embraced that life, seen that life, and actually wants more of it. And it's surprising him. He's realising he actually wants this. And that's difficult. I like the fact that he actually talks about how hard it is for him to really kind of open up. It's rarity. I will give Jule McBride some respect. It's nice to see this book is more from his kind of like male-centric protagonist, if you will. Alright, here you go. Yeah. Staring at Kelsey, wondering what to say, he realised his heart was hammering too hard. It wasn't because of the kiss, either, or because Kelsey just caught him kissing her mother under the mistletoe, but because he was in his warm, cosy house. He lived in one like that years ago when his parents were still alive. He could barely remember it, but tonight had brought back all the feelings he associated with it, and how angry he felt after the wreck had taken their lives. He'd been just as bad as angry as Kelsey looked, and as remembering that felt like an intruder on their grief, as if he didn't belong here. And the fact is that the next day, okay, because is Kim and Tim, okay, they spend the night together, okay, even though it's Christmas Eve. They shut the door, they have great sex, okay, sleigh bells here, are you? Yeah, okay, ask the mummy kissing Santa Claus, whatever, okay. And the next day, it's actually quite realistic because it's Christmas Day, okay. Tim is there. Kelsey reacts in a way which I thought was brutal and realistic. She's not happy. I liked that. This was Kelsey's reaction to his usurper on their Christmas Day. Right. He doesn't belong here, not on Christmas. Shush. Kim managed, reminding herself that Kelsey had been up too late last night. Keep your voice down, he might hear you. I don't care if he hears me, Kelsey's sixth member. Well, I do. She had high hopes when she slipped from the bed at 5 to put the turkey. She had so been sure she'd been wrong that Kelsey was ready to move on with their lives. He's our guest. He's not my guest. What's happened, Kelsey? What's different today? Please, Kim managed. Don't ruin this, Kelsey. You do like him. He's not Daddy. Right. Maybe Kim should have expected it, but the comment came out of the blue. Inviting Timothy into their lives for a day of fun was one thing. Apparently, having him sleep in the bed Kim had shared with Candice Other was another. Right. No, of course it is a friend of ours. Now, come on. Don't you want to open your gifts? It was a bribe and maybe it will calm her. No. Right. And the fact is, okay, that Kim loses her temper with Kelsey on Christmas Day. It's a bit here. And once again, a nice touch. It was very realistic. It's a bit here. This is Kimberly. Why is it so hard for you to share this day with someone? She asked, leaning low, her voice an angry, exhausted whisper. With someone who doesn't have a family. Why are you always so selfish? The second the words were out, she hated herself. Kelsey was just a kid and she was scared. She couldn't let go of the past, they said with Larry. I don't want him here, Kelsey insisted. And that's when Tim shows up and he's like, I understand, she's right, I've got to go. And it was afterwards that Kelsey and Kimberly, mother and daughter, actually really talk about this. And it was nice, it was realistic, okay? About, it's okay that Daddy's gone, but Timothy's nice, and essentially they go and give him a chance, okay? Kimberly's essentially, come on, and before she actually gives Tim a present as well for what, Dr. Ooze, which I thought was a nice touch as well. Right, it's been here. In fact, it's okay that Kim Kardashian show up at Tim's doorstep and kind of not make a proclamation of love, not saying they're going to get married, but they're going to work on it. What I thought was also brutal and quite nice on Mills and Boone. In a novella, okay, you should be rushing towards marriage. Right. Does this mean you're going to get married? Kelsey persisted with a sudden giggle. Kiss Dana's friends Kim managed, her voice husky. Timothy merely chuckled and countered by saying out of the mouths of babes. After all, sometimes kids were right, and now that it was in the Jeep with them, it was easy by the minute to imagine himself marrying Kim and being a dad. As they'd been in there for a quick kiss, Timmy put the Jeep into drive and pulled out of the driveway, turning a hand on Kim's thigh. Right. So, and they drive off, and they're going to work on it. It was a nice touch. I think out of the three of them, the last one was the best, because Jule McBride, it felt shockingly realistic, and I like that. So, 41 years of Mills and Boone, sign off from the It Happened One Christmas, a Philadelphia affair, best one of the three. Sign off. Take cares. Bye now.